Good afternoon, and thank you for your interest in Westwater Resources. During this presentation, the forward-looking statements we make are based on management's judgment, including projections related to the Kellyton Graphite Processing Plant and the COOSA Graphite Deposit. These statements are subject to certain risks and uncertainties, a description of which can be found in this presentation and our SEC filings. Actual results may differ materially from what may be discussed here today. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Terrence Cryan, our Executive Chairman.
Good afternoon. This is a challenging time slot, I think, and I'm acutely aware that I may be the only thing standing between you and a Chase Lounge by the pool. So appreciate your attendance, appreciate your interest in Westwater. We are an energy technology company focused on producing advanced battery-grade graphite materials here in the United States. Our pilot plant in 2021 produced 13 metric tons of material, which is now in the hands of potential customers for qualification. Our definitive feasibility study was completed in October of 2021, and we promptly moved forward with the project with an estimated capital cost of $202 million, breaking ground in the fourth quarter of last year. And we're anticipating we're going to complete the plant construction in late Q2 of next year, so 14 months from now. We are actively developing, this project. We're on time and we're on budget, which in this environment, I think is cause for celebration. So, you think, stepping back a little bit and, thinking about the markets that we serve, obviously transportation is a key part of our market. And, EV is expected to show a 24% CAGR and will drive demand for lithium-ion batteries. CSPG, which is our principal product, is what makes up the anode of a lithium-ion battery. Approximately 50% of a lithium-ion battery is made up of graphite. So as you think about, demand, we think demand is also going to come from the battery storage sector. Battery storage is the enabling technology for many renewable energy technologies like wind and solar. And it enables power to be stored and then released during periods of peak demand. Other sectors like consumer electronics and defense will provide additional markets for our graphite materials. As I mentioned, a typical lithium-ion battery contains considerably more graphite than lithium. Approximately 1/2 of a battery cell is made up of graphite. So when you see that Tesla going down the road, I see 200 pounds of graphite traveling at speed. When you think about the value chain and where we fit in here, we're focused on our Kellyton Graphite Processing Plant, which is under construction and scheduled for completion next year. Our COOSA Graphite Mining Project is anticipated to begin operating in 2028. We're taking a little bit of a different approach here, because we're developing our processing plant first and then bringing on our graphite mining project in 2028. This approach has a lower upfront capital cost, a faster path to revenue and cash flow, and de-risk the timeline and permitting at our COOSA graphite deposit. We have a third-party, non-Chinese graphite source available until our graphite production comes online in 2028. This will vertically integrate our operations and provide a long-term security of supply to our Kellyton processing plant. This slide and the next slide, I think, are really kind of the money slides of this presentation. You think about, where we are in the value chain. You've got at the bottom here natural graphite concentrate, which sells for about $1,000 a ton. You've got uncoated spherical graphite, and then you've got our principal product, coated spherical graphite, or graphite anode, here at the top. And you can see that through this processing plant, we're going to create approximately $9,000 per ton, resulting in a value multiplier of approximately 9 times. If you look at where the natural graphite anode market is today, you can see, and this is benchmark mineral intelligence data, the bottom blue part of this chart is existing and projected Chinese anode material. China currently supplies about 85% of the market worldwide. The yellow bar is non-Chinese capacity expected to come online. We play in that segment. The black segment is the unmet demand. I mean, I've been doing this for a while, and I have not seen a chart like this in my career. The United States is currently 100% dependent on foreign imports of advanced graphite materials. We will be the first plant in the United States to produce battery-grade graphite. So we're moving forward with our construction in central Alabama. Phase 1 will be approximately 7,500 metric tons. To kind of jumpstart our project, we purchased 2 buildings comprising 90,000 square feet of warehouse and office space immediately adjacent to the plant site. Those buildings were purchased on very favorable terms and really gave us a leg up in terms of our overall plant development. One of the things we did right out of the gate was to start to put orders in for long lead time items to ensure that, we de-risk the construction as much as possible. So, for example, in December, we placed orders for our furnaces, which are being built in Buffalo, New York. And again, we are on time, on budget. In addition to our processing plant, we also have our COOSA graphite deposit, which is a source of domestic U.S. natural flake graphite. We're just finishing up an exploration drilling program, and next steps there is to develop a resource model that we'll be announcing later this year. So, the plan is really to have a fully integrated source of material for our Kellyton processing plant, and we anticipate that we will have at least a 30-year supply of natural flake graphite coming from our COOSA deposit. So again, a little bit different approach that we've taken by developing the processing plant first and then the deposit. We only get to mine our graphite once. We think using a third-party, non-Chinese source of natural graphite here in the next few years, will be advantageous and will allow us to mine our graphite at attractive prices. So let me turn things over to Steve now on financials.
Thank you, Terrence. It's an exciting time to be part of Westwater and this management team. We've made significant progress and continue to advance our battery-grade graphite business. As mentioned, in 2021, we completed our DFS for phase one of the plant, estimated at $202 million. We secured approximately 70 acres near Kellyton, Alabama for our site. Working with the state of Alabama and the local municipalities, we also were able to receive an estimate $36 million in tax incentives to bring the project to the area. The people and the state of Alabama and the local support we have gotten has been fantastic. We're very excited to be in that area, to help out the local community and to continue to partner with the state. As Terry mentioned, we also secured 2 buildings adjacent to our site, and we believe that this provided significant savings in time and cost to the overall project. We continue to move forward with construction activities. We currently have civil and earthworks going, and the plan is expected to be completed at the end of Q2 2023. We have a strong balance sheet. We have approximately $115 million of cash, no debt. We are in active discussions on a range of alternative sources of additional funding. They'll be necessary to complete phase one of our processing plant. But our focus is on securing the lowest cost of capital available to us. On the financial summary, we are a pre-revenue company. So this company has been successful in raising a significant amount of capital and have deployed that cash to get the business to where it is today and in the position that we're in. Product development expenses in 2021 and 2022 really related to supporting our DFS study, running our pilot program that, as mentioned, produced 13 metric tons of battery-grade product, as well as designing our process, which has a patent-pending purification process, and supporting the feasibility that we completed in Q4 of 2021. General and administrative expenses were slightly higher in 2021 versus 2020, but that was primarily due to non-cash stock compensation as we continue to build out this team moving forward. We also moved from the NASDAQ to the New York Stock Exchange American last year. And then we also had increased activity related to our sales and marketing and business development efforts. Our net loss in 2021 actually decreased from 2020. This was the result of a strategic direction change that was implemented years ago to move out of our former uranium mining business and into graphite. So the final sale was completed at the end of 2020. As part of that sale, we actually received equity shares from the buyer, which we sold in Q4 of last year for $3.6 million, which was almost double the valuation at the disposal date. Westwater Resources is traded on the New York Stock Exchange American. Our ticker symbol is WWR. With our shares that are outstanding and our average trading volume provides strong liquidity. And as I mentioned, our financial position with $115 million of cash, no debt, allows us the ability to make a significant investment and move this project forward on phase one of our processing plant, and provides the ability to seek additional low cost of capital funding. As I mentioned, we're engaged in the process of seeking that funding and having discussions with all the third parties that you would expect us to be having. The additional source of capital, it may come from, but it's not limited to, traditional forms of project debt financing, government loan or grant program, a strategic partner, or a combination. With that, I'll turn it back over to Terrence, who will talk a little bit about our team and corporate governance and culture.
So we had a successful succession planning process earlier this year, and we had a smooth leadership transition in February. when our Chief Operating Officer, Chad Potter, was appointed CEO. At that time, the board requested I become executive chairman, allowing Chad to remain focused on ensuring our Kellyton processing plant gets completed on time and on budget. So we're busy at the present time filling out the team, getting ready for commencing operations in 2023. I do want to talk about the culture that we've built at Westwater and our commitment to safety and ESG. Every meeting at our company starts with a safety share. And we're committed to environmental stewardship and manufacturing practices which are environmentally superior to a majority of the existing CSPG manufacturing processes in the world. We have a proprietary graphite purification process that is patent pending, and we are aiming for an industry-leading low carbon footprint, which we think customers will increasingly demand. I mean, if you're having a conversation with Panasonic, they want to know what your carbon footprint is. So we're committed to being trustworthy stewards of our shareholders' company. And we've developed a gender-balanced board of directors, which is made up entirely of mid-career C-suite executives. There are no retirees on our board. So in closing, this is an exciting time for Westwater Resources. We appreciate your interest in our company. And if there's one really good decision you make while you're here, this is it. Thanks for your time. Steve and I will take some questions.
Do you have any questions for Westwater? Yeah, my question was expand on how I understand the proprietary nature of what you're doing. Now, your answer was how you get to the ultra CSP.
Sure. So, I mentioned earlier that 85% of the world's battery quality graphite comes from China. Their processes typically involve hydrofluoric acid. Ours do not. And that gives us, I think, a really significant advantage in terms of the environmental impact of our processing technology. What we're doing in our Kellyton plant in terms of CSPG at an individual component level is not necessarily unique, but the way that we are approaching it is. And that's why we filed for a patent. Thank you.
Do you have any other questions? Can you talk about what's going on?
Sure. So a couple of weeks ago, the White House announced that they were invoking the Defense Production Act for 8 critical materials, graphite being one of them. Now, that act has not been invoked since the 1950s. So, we're still trying to really fully understand, what does that mean? And, I think, candidly, I think the White House may have gotten a little out in front of some of the agencies on this. So we're really, actively trying to understand, does this mean we're going to get additional access to low-cost government loans from the DOE? Does this mean we're going to be eligible for grants? Does this mean we're going to get accelerated permitting? The Department of Energy has a $40 billion authorization for loans. So as you might expect, we're having some quality conversations with those folks on a weekly basis. A couple of days ago, the Department of Energy announced a $3.1 billion grant program to support the EV industry. Who doesn't like free money? So we'll be pursuing that pretty actively.
With the Kellyton plant coming online in 14 short months, but your own internal source of supply is lagging by a number of years. What can you tell us about the risks or the certainties here?
Right. So we have in place a contract for a third-party supply until we bring COOSA online. It's a non-Chinese source. The NDA does not allow me to discuss the counterparty, but we're very confident we've got solid supply until we bring COOSA online. I think, again, slightly different approach we've taken here, building the processing plant first, doing the mine second. We really think that it substantially de-risks our project and our company. We're not going to be held hostage to, permit. If the permitting timeline for COOSA takes an extra 6 months, that's not a bet the company decision. Thank you.
Question. What's your relationship with the state of Alabama?
I can't say enough good things about the state of Alabama. It is a great place to do business. We had a ceremonial groundbreaking about 10 days ago at our Kellyton plant with the governor and a delegation from the state of Alabama. They have been remarkable to work with. Not only did they give us, 70 acres of land at very favorable terms, they gave us, significant tax incentives, and they upgraded, the power and wastewater treatment facility at Kellyton. So, got to tell you, Alabama is a great place to do business. Thanks very much. Really appreciate your interest.
I have a question.
Sure.
I was just looking at your 52-week high level, and listening to your presentation, you're well cached, low share. Macro is fantastic. They're U.S. based. I mean, the picture is fantastic. What's the disconnect?
I've been doing this for a while, and this one really is a head scratcher. We're trading well below cash value per share. You're essentially getting the business for free. So when we come out of blackout next week, I'll be buying stock. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.